Greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
I am right. I'm right. I'm so right.
Well, that's an evil laugh. We'll see. We'll see about that. I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
So I'll let you talk since you kind of threw me off with that.
Why should I talk? Well, as the listeners know, my mind is a little different. It's,
you think?
Just a little bit. A little bit. But I've noticed I haven't been able to find things lately.
Lately?
Yeah, like my lavender oil. Where is my Do you know where my lavender oil is, Jill?
Well, first of all, it's my lavender oil that you took away from me. And yes, I do know exactly where it is.
Well, wait a minute.
I see it every day.
Wait a minute.
It's on your nightstand.
But you gave it to me.
No, I didn't give it to you. Well,
it's on my nightstand. Are you sure?
I'm absolutely positive.
Are you sure?
I'm absolutely positive. And I didn't give it to you. One night when you couldn't go to sleep, I reached for my lavender oil on my nightstand. And you were like, get away from me. Get away from me, woman. Get away from me, woman.
It stinks.
But I got it to where once you inhaled it, you were like, out.
Yeah, I went right to sleep. I was out. Yes.
And the next thing I know, I'm like, where is my lavender oil? And I make the bed most every day instead of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it on your side of the nightstand. So that's where it still is.
Okay. Well, then that's the spot. That's where it stays. But I bought several little bottles of lavender oil. And I don't know where those are, but I know I bought like 2 or 3.
I bought a high quality grade that's really good.
They were like
yours were like
watered down lavender oil or something. So I don't know where those bottles are, but they're
think you
here
probably
somewhere.
threw them away.
No, I didn't throw them away.
Well, that helps us get to this week's episode topic, which is when you need to get rid of stuff so that maybe you can find things. But really, the topic is when you need to get rid of stuff. It's part of a segment that we call Stand by Your Stance. I want to clarify by saying I don't mean that you need to get rid of my lavender oil. I'm just saying that perhaps
I could get rid of those other lavender bottles.
I think you did.
No, I know I didn't. I didn't because I saw them someplace and I was like, oh, that lavender oil sucks. But I didn't throw it away.
Why not? If you didn't like it.
I think many of us have a problem throwing away something that's it's good. It wasn't used.
But it
maybe
wasn't
not good for me, but maybe it's good for somebody else,
So you could give it away.
I could, but I don't know where they are.
Well, I definitely have a problem holding on to things. I remember when I was little, this habit apparently started when I was little because my aunt called me a pack rat.
A pack rat?
Most when I was little.
Really?
Because I held on to everything. I wouldn't let you throw away stuff that was mine.
So not like a hoarder.
No.
Okay.
No, I've never been a hoarder. Because I don't think you could be a hoarder of books.
Yeah, you can.
Well, I'm not a hoarder.
Yes,
the books have not.
Can. Yes,
I don't think that's accurate.
You can definitely
I don't think you can be a hoarder of
hoarders.
I don't think you could.
Books.
I don't think you could ever have enough books. But
have you ever watched that show? And people,
hoarders?
Yes, they hoard.
Well, they have
even
papers
books
and magazines,
newspapers and magazines and
those are
everything, and they can't move through the house. But they have books too.
But the books are not the problem. But in my defense, even though we have books in almost every room of this house.
Every time I give you another bookcase, you say, we need more bookcases.
When was the last time you gave me a bookcase?
That one, the other one that I built.
That's been
the
there
other one, and
for years.
And the other
it's been years since you've given me a bookcase. I keep asking for them.
Not true. Not the
you
the
built
other
the
one.
You built the one in the dining room.
That's right. I built the one in the dining room. I built the ones in the guest bedroom. I built I
The one in the
built
guest
all
bedroom
this.
was here before I moved in.
I gave it to you though.
Because you didn't have any books in the house when I first met you. I have added books.
I had books.
Where? On the table? Tabletop books?
No, I definitely had. I had books.
You had one little stack of books.
I had books.
You didn't have books. Them. Your shelves were not.
No, because here's the problem.
Furnished.
At the time, that's when I was in the truck all the time. So if I read a novel or something, it was in the truck, and it got all beat up. So no reason to put those up on a shelf. It's all beat up and stuff.
Well, I always have a to be read pile of books, and I keep adding to it. But in my defense, in spite of all the bookshelves that we do have in this house and how many books I have just sitting out because we don't have enough bookshelf space for all my books, it still hasn't taken over any room, the books.
Not yet. Yeah, I understand. But, look, I have to say, I absolutely, positively have too much stuff. I got so much stuff. And now that I'm getting older I always had a lot of stuff, but I kept it pretty organized for the most part. I knew where everything was and, on shelves and all of that. But when COVID happened and I had to, go back to driving a truck, our basement is like just filled with junk. It's like the dumping ground for everything.
As you know, I very rarely go into the basement because it just seems like a bunch of stuff, I don't even know what's down there.
I mean, I have no idea what all is stuff. If you ask me for something, oh yeah, I got that.
Yes, you can pretty much put your hands on it.
Yeah, I got it. Most of the time. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes there's a tool I know I have.
Right.
And I can't.
You can't find it.
And I have to go out and buy another one.
Oh.
Because I can't find it. So
now you have at least 2 of those.
2 and 3. You know what? I got to think about hammers.
What about hammers?
I probably have 10 hammers.
Because you can't find them? Or because you think you need a lot of hammers?
I've had more hammers than that, but I sold them. But no, hammers and tape measures. I get tons of hammers and tape measures. Yes,
because you've given me 2 or 3 tape measures.
Yeah, because a tape measure, you take it, you put it down, and then you walk away.
Yes, I had to start putting the tape measure that you gave me. I had to start putting it in a container where I knew exactly where it was. Put it down,
and I have tape measures in my van. I have tape measures all over this house. I can pull open my office drawer and there's a tape measure in there because you never know when you're gonna need to measure something.
And that way you won't have to go wherever to get it.
Yeah, right? Yeah. But I truly do have too much stuff, and it's beginning to drive me nuts.
Well, you brought up the pandemic, and I must say, before the pandemic hit, I had cleaned out my closet. Remember?
Yeah.
And my closet is still pretty much that way. However, now that we're starting to come out of a pandemic, I look in my closet and I'm like, I can't wear half of these clothes anymore because, I gained the pandemic pounds.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
So rather than get rid of them and, just wear clothes I can actually fit, I'm like, oh, but someday I'll be able to get back into these. And so I realized I was saying that to myself, I'm like, in reality, there are a lot of clothes I haven't worn in like 5 years,
Exactly.
Whether I
me
can
too.
wear them or not in reality.
And I think.
So I need to do what you're describing and have a pandemic purge, and just like, because I actually think that it would, I'm how I feel about energy in the house, actually. And when I cleaned out the closet and my desk, the energy was so much
It's
better.
so much better, yeah.
So
clutter is like negative.
Yes,
it's just like
because it clutters your mind,
energy.
I think, you know. And now I don't need my mind to be, you know, zapped. I need to use my mind, right?
Yeah.
And I have all of these ideas, but for a while I was stuck because of all the clutter around me. And so it has opened up because I have done some purging during the pandemic. But now that we're talking about this, I realize, I need to go through every room where I have stuff
and get rid of stuff.
And get rid of stuff that I really just don't need. Because it's funny that you and I are having this conversation because neither one of us is materialistic at all. Nope. We're not attached to things at all.
Not for the most part.
For the most part, we're not. You know, so it's funny that if that's the case with us, you know, if that's the case with us, then imagine people who are attached to things and they can't get rid of it.
Yeah, it's weird. I have a drawer, a big drawer.
In which room?
Well, it's actually in our guest bedroom. And
I think I came across that yesterday.
This big,
because I was like,
this big, deep drawer,
like, what is this?
And it's filled with socks from top to bottom, jam packed.
When's the last time you wore any of them?
I haven't worn any sock out of that drawer in probably 5 or 6 years. I don't need those socks. I don't wear them. And you know, a lot of people that probably don't know this, but I know this because I've kept socks this long. Okay. When you keep socks like for 5, 6, and 10 years, the elastic dry rots in it.
It does?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So you put them on and either they like fall right down like droopy stockings.
Right.
Or the elastic, after you put them on, the elastic starts breaking off bits and you have all this white stuff on your socks. It's because the elastic is breaking while you're wearing them.
I must not have any socks that old because I've never
there's some socks in there that are like brand new.
And you still never wore them.
I've never worn them. And it's like 30 pair of black socks, another 25 of brown socks,
so when this podcast
15 of beige socks.
Wow. So when we finish recording this podcast, are you just going to get a bag and empty that drawer and then take it away?
But here's the thing. I don't know how this happens. But I did that.
Did what?
5 years ago.
Well, that's the problem.
Went to that drawer, but I emptied the drawer. I got rid of all the socks.
Filled it back up.
Well, why is that? I don't wear them. Some of them have been worn. I don't know why.
Well, I think
it's crazy.
I think when we go and when we empty a drawer or a closet or whatever the case is, when we empty it, we fill it back up with new stuff that we have every intention of wearing or consuming somehow, but we forget about it.
We forget. So that means that's stuff we don't need.
It's stuff we don't need.
We don't need.
If we hadn't thought about it in years, then
I don't need those.
We don't need it.
Well, I make an exception with tools.
Yes, because you never know when you're going to need a tool.
I'll keep for years and years and years.
Yes,
I will not get rid of them.
And you said, I created this with this tool that I got 10 years ago, but it's the first time I've used it, but I had it. Yeah.
So, if you
that's preparation, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, you have to have the right tool. You want to do a good job, you have to have the right tool. So, and that goes for anything. If you want to write, you need to have a good computer, nowadays.
Right.
These are things we need. But,
and if you want to write on a desk, the desk needs to be clear.
Yeah, exactly.
In my case, I have only my favorite things on it.
Yeah.
That spark creativity for me.
Yeah.
When I'm surrounded by things I love and remind, I have a lot of affirmations around my desk.
But, I also have tons of camping equipment.
But it came in handy when we used to do that.
Yes, it did, but
Would you
we
get rid
haven't.
of it if we
I'm
ever got
think
like an RV or something?
No, I'm thinking about getting rid of all of it. All of it. Just get rid of all of it.
Then what if you decide you want to go camping before you have an RV?
Then
You
we
just
gotta
go
buy
buy
the
something
stuff
else?
again. Gotta buy more stuff. But when you all the camping equipment that I gathered over the years, if I had to go out now and buy it, it would be like thousands of dollars. So I keep it. I'm like, well, maybe one day take the grandkids camping. Well, now they
Well, I was going to
won't
say,
want
now
to
they're
go, but
teenagers. They
there's going
probably
to
don't
be
want to go
some new.
anywhere
But
with
there's going to
us.
be some new grandkids and younger
Right,
grandkids.
right.
Maybe I want to do that. I mean, I've got probably 15 fishing poles, rods and reels and stuff like that I used to use all the time. And if someone, wanted to go fishing and they didn't have a rod and reel, here you go. Yeah, take that. But I haven't used them either. I typically only use like 3 or 4 of them, and the rest just sit there and collect dust. I got a saltwater fishing rod and reel. I haven't been saltwater fishing in years.
Well, I think I think the thing about keeping stuff that you haven't used in years or even thought about is that we all play that game of, but what if?
Yeah, we might need it. Just might need it.
Right.
Might need it.
Right.
So.
But I think you and I could really do a deep purge of this whole house. But I'm going to let you do the basement because I'm afraid of what's down there. Like, what is down there?
No, but really, I got so much stuff. I got stuff from when we used to have the big parties and cookouts and
which we may again.
I had to pull some of that stuff out
for the
on that other holiday weekend.
Right.
I was like, yeah, we need some more stoves and pots and all of this and
you had
commercial grade size.
Right.
And I have that stuff.
And you had it.
Yes,
so that came in handy.
Good to go.
So I would think that things like that you shouldn't get rid of.
Yeah, I shouldn't get rid of those, but
but I can certainly get. I'm not getting rid of any of my books, so don't even think that. But I will get rid of.
Ask you.
I'm just saying. Let's be clear. But I will get rid of. Every now and then I get rid of magazines that I've been keeping for. That's a good keepsake. Because of who was on the cover or who was in it.
Guess what, Jill?
But I can get rid of those because guess what? They're online.
They are. Yeah, I remember you never used to throw away any magazines.
Right.
And I used to get on you. I was like, you got to get rid of some of these magazines. They just pile and pile. But guess what?
I did it.
I'm guilty too.
You're not as bad as me though with that.
I have golf magazines.
Golf?
Yeah, a ton of golf magazines.
Why?
When I was trying to learn how to play golf. Bought a lot of golf. I had a subscription to,
You did?
Yes.
Oh. So when you stopped playing golf, what happened?
The magazines are still here. Why am I keeping them? And I didn't think about them until, some of them are in one of our bathrooms in the house, in a little rack.
Right.
And I didn't think about it until somebody had pulled out one of the golf magazines and was reading it. Right. Hey, where'd you get that from?
Because that person plays golf.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. But the it's like 6 years old, the magazine. I can't get rid of it.
Well, since we're talking about magazines, I do realize every time I renew a subscription, now you're given the choice. Would you like a printed version, a digital version, or both?
Oh.
And so I have started saying digital.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's good for me because, I'm so inundated with emails that when I do get a digital subscription, I'm less likely to read it because to me, it's just another email. And
it's
I
not
would like to
sitting
unplug,
on the table in front of
I would
you
like to unplug as much as possible so that act of opening up a magazine and flipping through the pages. I guess I'm still old school. I do prefer that. But I also understand that that's when they start piling up, because if I have, like, let's say like 3 magazine subscriptions and they all come in at the same time, I don't have time to read 3 magazines in 1 week,
Exactly.
I don't have time, that kind of time. So
Yeah. And
now that
it's
I'm
not
talking,
like you're going to scoop them up and take them with us when we go on vacation
right,
to read them all.
right.
You don't think about it.
I don't. In fact, I'm more likely. Oh, that's another thing. Oh, thanks for saying that. Because I was getting ready to say, on this last vacation we took, I took my Kindle. Well, I took my tablet that has Kindle on
Right.
it.
Yep.
And that's where my subscriptions, I can look at magazines on that. Now that I'm thinking about it. Okay, problem solved. So now I can get rid of.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard to get rid of some of them.
Yeah, but it's difficult. Like I had 3 utility trailers. Okay. 3 utility trailers. Each one had a different purpose.
Right.
But then
and there were different sizes too.
There were different sizes. Yeah.
Yes.
Different sizes, different purposes, for what they did. But I was like, well, how often do I use all of these trailers? Right.
Right.
So I realized that there was one that I used most of all, and I sold the other ones. So it was hard for me to make that decision. Hey, just get rid of it. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, I might need that one someday.
Right.
And then also times have come up and I said, oh, I wish I had my other little trailer or, but it wasn't the end of the world. I found another way to do what I was going to do. And it's all good. I'm like that with my boat that's in 2 pieces. I sometimes I say, you know what? I just need to get rid of it and I'll just sell the engine and so on and so forth, because I haven't had time to work on it in 2 years.
Right.
I should just get rid of it.
Like, I'm not getting rid of my boat.
Yeah, because I think things will change and then I'll have time to work on. Like one time I sold my motorcycle. I still regret that. I sold my motorcycle. It was hard times. And I was like, oh, you know what? I only ride my, wasn't riding it like every day. So I'll sell it. And then later when I have more time, I'll just buy another one. It hasn't happened. No. So I remember that. And I remember times when I had plenty of time to ride my motorcycle, but I didn't have one. So I was pissed off. I shouldn't have sold my motorcycle. So that's what I think when I look at the boat in 2 pieces. As soon as I get rid of it, I got time to fix it now. Which that boat I was going to leave in Texas at the house at the log house out at the lake,
that you mentioned in the last episode.
Yes, I was going to leave it out there, and then I was going to buy another boat that was all set to go and keep that one here.
Yes.
So there's a reason to my madness.
Oh goodness,
there's a reason, you see.
Well. It's interesting that you say that, because as much as we've talked about this topic in this episode, it's not really been a problem in our relationship. What you keep around, well, I'll take that back. Sometimes you just throw away my stuff. I take that back. So that's really the only time it's been a problem. You just decide to throw away my stuff. Not yours, mine.
Oh, no. I get rid of my stuff too. I used to have like 10 bread machines. Each one was a little different, had a different purpose. I got rid of a whole bunch of them.
Yes.
I only have like 3.
But I didn't see the act of your doing that. So from my perspective, you got rid of my stuff.
No, I
do know now that you got rid of some of the bread
take
machines.
Stuff to Goodwill.
Yes, we both do.
Stuff.
Both do. But for the most part, it hasn't been a real problem in our relationship. But we certainly understand that with some couples or in some relationships, it's a real problem.
Yeah, it's a real problem. Yeah. But that's when it gets getting closer to that hoarding,
right?
And which is a whole nother
right, because there's a reason that people hoard.
Yes.
There is a reason.
Yes,
it's deeply rooted.
Yeah, but that's truly a mental
Right.
condition.
Right.
And so which is definitely different.
Right. Well, let's get to our second segment that we call
Give it a rest and a resolution.
Do you have a conclusion, resolution on this one?
I think I'd like you to go first on this one.
Well, my conclusion is that we all have things in our homes that matter to us at that moment. And we think either, oh, we'll get to it later. Like maybe, like, for example, the magazines, they come in, oh, I am going to read that later. And then the next month's issues come in. Oh, I'm going to read that one later too. And it'll just stack them up. Right. So my conclusion is that we all have things that matter in the moment, but maybe we should all remember our big picture priorities. Does that really matter that it's here? Does it?
Yeah, does it? Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes the answer may be yes, and sometimes the answer may be no. And
yes.
You have to, but my conclusion is that people need to purge at least once a year.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Some very good listeners of ours, and I'm going to continue on this conclusion, and they mentioned that they were doing death cleaning.
Yes.
Which is, get your house. You're getting older. You got all this stuff. You're not going to use it.
Yeah,
give it to someone. Give it to someone, a family member. Make a call.
Don't make it hard.
Hey,
I got the ones left behind.
Yeah, but say, hey, I got this old couch. It's in great condition. Do you want it, or whatever it is? Maybe you got too many TVs in your house. You don't need them. Yeah, you want a TV here? You can have one. And actually, that happened over that holiday weekend. One of our guests said, "Hey, my tripod broke. I saw one in your basement. Can I use it?" Not only can you use it, but you can have it.
Yes, because you hadn't even thought about that tripod in years. Yeah.
Because the tripod I use, I know exactly where it's at, and I use
my grandmother, before she died, she gave away a lot of stuff so that people left behind wouldn't have to clean as much.
Yeah. So great.
So, well, let's get to our third segment that we call
I'm trying to help you.
Advice?
Yes.
Oh, you're on it this time.
Stop buying stuff. Just stop.
But you might need
it. Just stop buying.
You might just want it.
Just stop. Really think about it before you buy it. That impulse buy usually is something you don't need. And you don't have to need everything you buy.
Right. But sometimes you just want it and you deserve it.
Yeah, but sometimes, and most of the times, people will buy that thing and never use it or put it on a shelf.
Because whatever that impulse reason is gone.
It's in and out. So stop buying so much stuff, people. And Americans are very guilty of buying way too much stuff. Stop it. Just stop buying stuff.
That's true. My advice, one thing I have started doing, I would say in the last couple of months, is when I do have those impulses to buy things, because a lot of people buy things when they're stressed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's an outlet.
That is true.
So I recognized that about myself. And then I started trying to envision how I was going to use it, when I was going to use it, how often. And if those visions included, once a year, I didn't buy it.
Oh, cool.
So maybe picture yourself using it and imagine how often. So let's get to our last segment that we call.
So, what do you think? What do you think?
Because I'm right.
Because I'm right.
Phone number?
That phone number is 404-594-2247. 404-594-2247.
So we encourage you to call us and, just talk to us or tell us a topic you'd like for us to do. Just call us.
Yes, please. We'd love to hear your voice.
All right. right. You've been listening to I'm Right.
I'm Right.
I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
Shout out to Gifford Ivan Cordova III for the music, Nick Zinke for the art, and to you two listeners. Thank you for keeping us going.
Thank you, and we love you all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.